Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is SD Atelier. Thank you so much for clicking this video. In today's tutorial, we'll be making the shirt dress you saw on the thumbnail. I'll be needing my bodice block. If you have not seen the video, I'll leave the link down for you to watch. Okay, so I have my bodice block here with me. I'll be starting with the front block. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to close the shoulder dart. I will transfer it to the side. Okay, so I'm going to cut open to the bust point, then I'll close the shoulder dart with my marking tape. Okay, then I'm going to take a small piece of paper, just place it under, then tape it down. Okay, then I'm going to fold it like so. Use my tracing wheel to trace it. Then I'm going to connect the legs. Right, so then I'm going to cut the excess paper off. Okay, so I have it. Okay, so I have my front body traced on a fresh paper. I ignore the 1 cm drop at the waist. Okay, so I have it here. Then I left like 2.5 inches in front as button allowance. It will serve as button allowance before tracing the bodies. So now the next thing I'm going to roll down. Just roll straight down to the hem. Okay, so now I'm going to impute the waist to hip measurement. Mine is 22.8 cm. Then I'm going to square a line. Then I'll divide my hip measurement by 4. Okay, so now I'm going to put my hip measurement. After dividing, I divided my hip measurement by 4, then added half as is. You can add as much as you want. It depends on how free you want it. So I'm going to connect from the waist to the hip now. Then the dart, I'm still going to impute the dart measurement. I will extend it by 13 cm downward. Okay, even though it's going to serve as ease later on, I'm not going to sew it because I didn't add any ease to the waistline. So this dart is going to serve as ease for me later on. Okay, so I'll just connect it like so. All right. Okay, so now the next thing is to impute the length of the shirt dress. So the front length is going to be a little shorter than the back. You can be creative about this. This is what I want. So I'm using length 119.5 cm. That's about 47 inches. So I'll just mark it like so. Okay, then I'm going to square out. Okay, then on the line now, I'm going to impute the hip measurement. What I have on the hip line, I'll just put it like so. Okay, then I'm going to use my ruler to square out a little, just like to have a slant shape about 3 cm. Okay, just slant it out like so. I have 3 cm. Okay, so the next thing is just to make a little adjustment to the neck. Okay, so I decided to go in by 1 cm at the width of the neck and the length of the neck 1 cm, so that it will not be too choky. So I'm going to connect the point together like so. Okay, so the next thing now for me is to add my seam allowances all around it. Okay, so I've added half an inch to the neck area, the shoulder and the armhole, half an inch, then the side 1 inch. Sorry, I'm supposed to have shaped the bottom before adding my seam allowance, so that's what I'm going to do now. So from the waist, I'm just going to take like 53 cm, that's about 21 inches if I'm right. Okay, then I'll go in like 2.5. You can be creative about the bottom. I just want to shape it. Okay, then I'm going to use my French curve just to draw a curve, and you can use your hand, you can just eyeball it and just shape it. So I'll connect from the bottom in a curve like so. All right, just be creative. I think I'm going to change this shape. Okay, let me start from where the side seam is at. Okay, let me start from there. Okay, let me reconnect the shape like so. I think it will look better this way. Just be creative about it. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to add the hem allowance. I'm going to use about 1 inch. You can use half an inch, it depends on you, but here I'm using 1 inch as my hem allowance. Okay, then I'll just connect the point like so, then cut out. Okay, so now I have my front pattern. Okay, so moving to the back, I have a trace out, back bodies trace out. So the next thing now, I'll be imputing the waist to hip measurement, waist to hip. Okay, then I'll square a line. Okay, then my hip divided by 4 plus half an inch as is. I'll put it like so, then connect from the waist to the hip, just like we did for the front. Okay, so now the length I'll be using 125 cm, that's about 50 inches. That's like 3 inches longer than the front. You can, like I said, you can be creative about it, you can make it longer, but this is just like 3 inches longer than the front. So I'll just mark it like so. Then square a line. Okay, then the hip measurement, what I have on the hip line, I'll retake it now on this line, now on the hip line. I'll mark it, then add 3 cm to slant it out, just like we did for the front. So I'm going to connect it now from this point to this point. So I'll just connect. Now moving to the dart, I want to hold that at the back, so I'll just extend the dart leg by 13 cm, that's about 5 inches. Yes. Okay, now to impute the measurement for shaping the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to measure not from the hip line but from the waist, 53 cm, that's about 21 inches, to shape the bottom. So I'll just mark like so. Okay, so at the center front I'll just mark like 2.5 cm. Depends on you, you can be creative just to shape the bottom. So I'm going to use my French curve now. Just connect in a curve. Okay, like so. Okay, so now I'm going to widen the neck like I did for the front. So I'll just take like 1 cm. You can use half an inch, it depends on you. Then I'll reshape it like so. Okay, so now I can add my seam allowances all round. So I'll start from the neck, half an inch, then the rest. Okay, so now I have the seam allowances all around it. Okay, if you don't want the shoulder dart, you can actually remove it from the armhole, then reshape it like so. Okay, the next thing for me now is to place this both front and back on my fabric, then cut out. Okay, so I have a cut on fabric, but I quickly want to explain this middle dart. You can either eliminate it, you can follow the method I use. I have a video on that. I'll leave the link below. Then after, you can add as much ease as you want. Okay, but in this case I'm going to sew the dart at the back. Okay, I love that at my back, so I'll still sew it. Then for the front, what I'm going to use the dart as ease for the front. I'm not going to hold it, I'm not going to sew it, so it's going to serve as ease for the front part. Okay, so I'm starting the stitching from the button allowance, which is 2.5. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it to the wrong side. I'll first fold like half an inch, okay, like so, then fold it into 1 inch, then iron, then stitch it at the edge from up to down. Then I'll do the same to the other side also. Okay, so now I'm done with the button allowance. I also stitch down the bust dart on both left and right side of the front. Okay, so now I'm going to turn the right side face up like so. Then I'm going to take the back also. I'll turn the right side to face the right side of the front. Like so. Okay, now I'm going to stitch the shoulders, then I'll also stitch the side seam. I'm done stitching the side seam and the shoulders. Okay, so the next thing now is to go to the hem. So I'll just roll it like 2 times like so, then stitch from one end to the other. Okay, so I'm done stitching the hem down. Okay, so the next thing now is for me to move to the neck area. So I'm going to measure it, then I'll use the measurement to draft my collar. I'm going to leave the link down of how to draft the collar because I'm trying to make this video as short as possible. All right. Okay, so after measuring the neck, I went ahead and I drafted and cut out the collars, 2-piece collar. I have the stand and I also have the fall. Okay, and I went ahead and iron interfacing on them. Please kindly watch that video. I'll leave the link down. I'm trying to make this video as short as possible. So I'm starting from the fall collar now. So I'll just stitch like half an inch like so. Okay, I'm placing the right side to the right side and facing them together before stitching. So I'll stitch down. Okay, so I'm done stitching the fall collar. So I even cut the corners so that it will be easy to turn inside out. Okay, you can even use like scissors to just push the edge out. Okay, then after, you can give it a good press so it will lay flat. Okay, I'll do that later. So then I'm going to place my stand now, the notch part. I'm going to match them together like so, right side facing right side. Okay, then I'm going to put the other part also, right side facing right side. Then I'm going to stitch from the button stand like so, just stitch it like so, like so. Okay, so after stitching the stand, now I'm going to snip it from one corner to the other. Just snip and snip. Okay, then I'm going to trim a little so it will not be bulky. Okay, now I'm going to turn the face inside out. Okay, then I'll give it a good press. Then after ironing, I'll just attach it to the neck of the shirt dress like so. I'll just take one part of the stand, just attach it from one end to the other. I'll stitch it by half an inch like so. Okay, so I'm done stitching down, so I'll just place the other part on it like so, then iron the seam allowance, which is like half an inch. I'll just fold it inward, iron it, then I can use hand needle to tack it down, but in this case what I'm going to put stitch at the edge. After ironing it down, I'll just stitch at the edge like so. Okay, so I have it stitched down, so I'm done with the collar. So the next thing is to move to the sleeve. Okay, I have my sleeve pattern here. If you have not seen my video on how to draft the sleeve pattern, I'll leave the link down below for you. Okay, so I'm stopping at this place, the elbow side, okay, because I have limited fabric. So I have my fabric here like so. Then I also have a piece of fabric that I cut. I want to use as turn up. I think the length is about 3 cm, so I'll just fold like so, 3 inches, sorry. I'll fold like so, then stitch at the edge. Okay, so this is the right side of the sleeve, then this is the wrong side. So the piece of fabric, after stitching the edge together, I'll just place it on the wrong side like so, then stitch on half an inch, then turn it to the right side like so, then put the sides of the sleeve together. Just put it together, then stitch on the same allowance like so. Okay, so after stitching the sleeve, I turn it inside out. This is it. Okay, I'll remove the label on the fabric. Okay, so the next thing for me is just to insert it to the armhole. So right side to right side, then just stitch it on the wrong side like so. Okay, so I'm done with fixing the sleeves. So the next thing is just to put the buttons. Okay, create your button holes, then fix the button. Now let me place it on my dress form for you to see. And here it is, looking nice. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, give it a thumbs up. You can also share across all platforms. Thank you so much. Bye for now.